Hey peeps, Fiend here, and we're continuing on with the Great Ace Attorney. Last time, we managed to get ourselves back into a chance by swaying some of the jury. And in this episode, we're gonna see if that actually meant anything, as we start to question the witnesses once more.
I trust you heard the summation examination we just had to endure.
Oh, yes, sir. That I did, sir.
Of course I heard it.
Oh, yes sir, I heard it.
You, sir, on the end. Coachman, I believe it's Bebo.
Yes, sir, my lord, sir.
If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir.
Oh, mio Dio.
Now then, witness, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense summation examination.
You, in particular, Mr. Top Hat, I want to have a word with.
I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear it. But,
Well, I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
He fiddled us on the fare, he did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's too much.
I tell you, I saw McGillen stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
oh, yes, he stabbed him, he did. I think so, yes.
Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cousinage.
Bebo, explain yourself. I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster.
The guild's fares 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare?
It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty.
You have been dishonest, coachman.
I'm sorry.
You're a disgrace, Bebo! A disgrace! And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild!
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week.
What?
Oh god, that's gonna obliterate my voice. 4 passengers, 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. Oh, that figures.
Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel, for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games.
Absolutely. So, we found out last time that we have a piece of evidence that mentions Mr. Top Hat here in a certain ledger. So we might have to get him on that. Okay, but what's the but What's the but
Hold it!
So, there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fare? Is that right? Ooh.
It's impossible to make the last run of the day pay.
Okay, you're always freaking out. Okay, carry on.
I was so cold, it was all I could do to stop myself from passing out.
Getting chill, Blaine's just listening to you.
It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Just a dedicated coachman deserve an extra penny passenger.
You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. Why, there'd been a fifth passenger on the omnibus that night. Then we would have been another suspect. Whoops. Nope. Wrong button.
Hold it!
Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir.
And I just told you that I did.
A flat fare, 5 pence across the board.
It's not something to be proud of.
The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead and buried.
I'd have been happy if it had ever existed in the first place. Oh, turn on autoplay. No, I don't want autoplay. Okay. I'm gonna keep pressing them until we get something going. This blood-curdling sight, you mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir.
Loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of man the moment his life is taken.
Oh, well, not exactly, sir. What? I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed.
Good gracious, really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it.
But Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker gent next to me take a sharp intake of breath. See? That's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw the horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. Okay, no one's overreacting.
I tell you, I saw...
Oh, right.
Hold it!
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGill, is stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him.
That's what I said, isn't it?
It was bothering me before. This was... For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question.
Anyway, there was only 2 of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been such talk of a 5th passenger, but as yet, 0 evidence. Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty.
Oh. You know what? Hold on, let's go back. Oh, I always forget how to go back. So, I want to pursue that now. I know. Because the thing that's bugging me is with the evidence we have right now, Mr. Top Hat right there would probably want every reason to make sure this guy gets guilty. Okay, I need to remember what this would do for...
Hold it!
Okay. And...
Excuse me!
Mr. First. Oh, how can I help you, sir? That last statement, did it trouble you in some way? Not particularly, sir, no. If anything, he's troubling me with that hat of his. Has he greased his head?
Oh, dear sir, I hope my hat's not troubling you, sir. I'm still just an apprentice, you see.
Mr. Naruhodo, even the witness can see what's going through your mind. You really must be more careful. Okay. Do I really have to, like, roundabout this whole time? Okay. I need to pay attention to reactions.
Hold it!
Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on you this time. Okay, hold on.
Hold it!
There's gotta be something I'm missing here. Okay, look around. It's gotta be at that point.
Hold it!
I didn't press this. Earlier you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you?
Oh, yes, that's right.
You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip.
I suppose. I might have, yes, put that cart before the horse, maybe.
What's this?
Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats of the roof deck.
No one's acting weird.
Oh, I expect that was me, sir.
Okay, he's just looking over.
Then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. A gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding a handle was the famous man, yes.
So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all.
I really thought that I did, but
No one's acting out of the ordinary.
when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stab.
Oh. Well, when you do it like that...
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment that the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh?
Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he just have happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? no chance. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on the top of the omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it clear as Ballarat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after the butcher stabbed the man?
Please, do tell.
Hold it!
Blood-soaked?
Well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there were definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
And you saw that from the roof, through the skylight?
Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had pretty good view. And there was a lamp on inside the carriage as well, so I'm quite sure what I saw.
Spanker's latest statement. I feel there's something not quite right about it. When you feel something doesn't add up, Mr. Naruhodo, that's when you should have a good look through the court record. Alright, here we go. Oh god, here we go again. Okay, so he's saying that he saw it clearly. They were soaked in blood. So let's see what we got. Oh! You mean these gloves? The one where there's a single stain?
Objection!
Blood-soaked hands?
Well, I admit that soap might be laid in on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay. That's more than a little peculiar.
What?
Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGill, did on the night of the question.
Oh, yes, right.
And there certainly doesn't appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there, but as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent.
Yeah, but no, that can't be right.
So you're the liar here then?
That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said with both hands.
Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it was in both hands. It was only one, but the fact remains. This victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court.
Why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't have...
No, I'm not even trying that word. He's claiming to have no reason to lie, but is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely. Something to show this man was compelling reason to lie in his testimony. Oh, I got that evidence. Thank you, Von Zykes. My lord.
Yes, counsel?
The defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove, are you sure?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony.
Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
Take that!
This is a list of debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded.
Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accuser's extortion.
The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently in debt financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt.
According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is formed between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist.
Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw? In a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant.
Order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord. Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have more serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you, or did you not, see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
All right, let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch.
A pinch?
But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on Mr. McGilded's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained.
So you keep saying?
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. First.
Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes, I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? What?
It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all your witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yeah.
Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yes! I finally have a chance to turn things around here.
There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both the attacker's hands with blood on them.
I didn't actually see anything myself, no. Not until I heard that scream.
Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold, in truth of fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it.
That's really not what testimony is about.
Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly viable in the seat, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case.
Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Yes, my lord.
Alright, this is getting a bit trickier, because I don't know what we're trying to find on this one. Okay, so we're just gonna keep pressing.
Hold it!
No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing at the night in question in the court record.
I am well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both of his hands.
It's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. Steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw. But why?
Your reasoning is dire. One hand on two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers. However, I suppose you might say...
Hold it!
Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well you know.
Yeah, but for crying out loud, we all know that no one else could possibly have done it. I was just trying to save us all the time.
You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? How do you hope to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty?
That's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the derby, that's all. I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend that was a sure thing.
A little guinea or 10?
I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend.
Wow.
I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not a trial here. Proceed to the next witness.
Is that really how it's supposed to work?
Hold it!
You definitely saw that too. Blood on both hands. Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilda's gloves has a sign of blood on it.
That's right.
The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilda sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves? That's correct, sir, and I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. It's true that the dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves would have been easy to see.
I should point out that the police officer who had apprehended the accused on that night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilden's gloved hands.
There wasn't blood on his hands.
This is puzzling indeed.
This must be significant somehow. I'm sure of it.
I didn't actually see anything myself. No.
Hold it!
You didn't see anything.
Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before, sir. Very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir?
I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories.
Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it?
No, sir, I saw nothing at all.
Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, no? Oh, please, you didn't even see that.
It was so cold that night, you see. It was all I could do to keep myself from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid. Sorry to say, sir.
It seem prudent to avoid travel in the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights.
Beppo!
Ah!
Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone inside the carriage.
Hold it!
And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus.
That's right, it was fiercely cold that night when the glass was frosted over.
Oh, yes, I remember. I was shivering. It was so bitter.
Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin.
Oh? Why not?
It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door.
It was locked.
That's right. And it's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play.
Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb on the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below.
Well, I can assure you I wasn't looking down, I was glaring long and hard. And that's precisely why I can't tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else in that cabin, I have noticed.
Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through that skylight? Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight in the floor of the upper deck. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you.
What?
By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nepalese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area of this cross-section plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated?
So let's see. Honestly, if he was sat here, then all he would have been able to see is forward. Unless he was like looking behind him for some weird reason. But if he was sat here, then all he would have seen was right here. So here? Unless it's like really insane.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other. Which means the visible part of the cabin which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight is as I've drawn here.
Ah,
That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite of the one which the victim and his attacker were sitting were obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it.
ah!
So we got another player in this game, huh?
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nepalese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude.
Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? I honestly don't know who could have been. Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? Well, who do we have? Oh, whoa, 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 oh god, okay, oh god, it's doing this. Okay, sorry about that, there's a bit of technical difficulties, but I guess we can go with I have an inkling. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name.
You are a fool. That the response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt.
Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was... Well, these two were clearly up there. This man was a passenger. Honestly, I'm not sure. Take a shot in the dark.
Take that!
The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witness on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded?
What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
Oh, come on, man!
If I desecrate this chamber with my smashing my hollowed chalice, do forgive discourtesy.
Lord Van Zyx!
People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisedly.
What are you trying to say?
Let me explain in terms that even a student of the artless backwaters such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to this fact. It's the very premise on which the case is built.
Objection!
Yeah, well, we kind of know that these guys have no idea what the hell they're talking about. But that premise may be wrong.
What?
If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, counsel?
The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Otherwise, one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night. A third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party?
Obviously, the true culprit. Oh man, now we're starting to put some pinpoints together. And from here, we're gonna end it off today. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.